You need to see this. So Jesus is preaching at a place. He's preaching and the place is packed out. It's full. Okay? To the point to where one writer says that you couldn't even get near the door. It's packed. Okay? And here come these four men bringing a man paralyzed. The scripture say again, when they couldn't get near or in, that they went on the roof. But this is what I want to show you in Mark 2 and 4. And when they could not come near him because of the crowd. Each writer makes us aware that they could not just approach him because of a crowd. See, the crowd acted as opposition. And see, this bothers folks because some of us believe, well, Pastor, if we believe in God, seem like everything in our way will just move. It will eventually if you keep operating in it. But again, some things don't move. It acts as opposition. It's easy for them to just carry the man through the door and just lay him down. But they can't do it because of a crowd. So when they had broken through. So when they had did what? So when they had did what? Mark implies that it took some work. Anybody ever went to do something that you thought was easy, but as you got over into doing what you were doing, it wasn't as easy as you thought? Anybody ever did that? You just gonna go in and fix something and you take a couple screws off and pull something back, but then you recognize, oh, I didn't know that was this gonna be more challenging. Anybody? I'm laughing because I done did it so many times, just thinking something gonna be a quick fix. But then all of a sudden you recognize, oh man, what I thought was going to be 10 minutes. Not only is it not going to be 10 minutes, it's going to be hours. And I'm going to have to pay somebody to do it. I also want to point out to you that sometimes opposition will not bend just at your will alone. I'm pointing that out because it seemed like these folk would have noticed, hey, here are four men carrying a paralyzed man. Obviously, the man needs some help. Make way for this man. Do you recognize that they didn't even care about his handicap? Can I tell you there are some oppositions that don't care that you're single? There are the opposition you face that don't care that you want a fixed income. There's some opposition that you face that don't matter, that don't care about what you went through in your past. But you have to defy it. And I love the spirit of these men to say that their faith was going to defy the opposition. See, it really was a setup for Jesus to do more than just forgive him. But I do like how Jesus does what he does, because there are so many people that battling a sickness, but they ain't saved. And the only thing they want is healing when they need to be saved and healed. Before Jesus healed, he saves. He said, and see, some of us, the only thing we worried about is our relative getting healed, but you need to worry about them getting saved. He forgives their sins. Don't just be concerned about folk getting healed if you know they're not saved. First, let them know your soul needs to be saved. So Jesus going to prove indirectly that it's God you're looking at. He said, which one is easier? To say your sins are forgiven or up and walk? The answer is to say your sins are forgiven. Because it's always easier to say a thing, even if it's done or not done. It's easier to just what? Say it. But Jesus said that you'll know the type power that I have. He looks at the man and said, get up and walk. Get up Get up. Take up what has been carrying you, and you carry it now. What has had you, you get control of it now. See, that's the word for somebody. It's time for you to get up. But the only way you can rise up is that your faith has to defy opposition. Your faith got to defy opposition in order for you to rise up. The thing about most of us is that we are the tail or we're down and we need to get up, but we're more concerned about the Falcons rising up rather than you rising up. It's time for you to rise up. It's time for folk to get up that's been down a long time. Are you hearing me? It's time for folk to have that ain't ever had nothing. It's time for you to have. Listen, it's time for folk that's been renting. It's time for you to own something. Time for you to get something with your name on it. Time for you to get a deed, baby. But in order to do it, you gotta rise up. And don't you look at, when I tell you to rise up, don't you look at opposition. Because the first thing that came in some of our mind, yeah, Pastor, I know we rent, but they say our credit ain't good enough right now to possess a home, so we just waiting. Pastor telling you, wait is over. Wait is over. Well, Pastor, we don't have the down payment. I'm telling you right now, don't worry about that. That's all I'm saying. Don't worry. Let God take care of that. And you get up. You get up. You hear me? You get up. Get up. If God done promise you something, don't you take another minute to look at opposition. You let your faith defy opposition and you rise up. You rise up.